authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation. Welcome to Tanisha Talks Tea, where we dive into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
What did Mr. Combs say?
That he'd spent all this money so she had to. Then there was a low-budget producer.
How many of your meetings with prosecutors did you end early?
Probably all of them.
Did you stay in touch with Mr. Combs?
Yes.
What was your tone?
Loving.
Why?
I don't hate him. It's not in me.
No further questions.
How are you?
Blessed.
When he met with the government, you had an attorney present.
Yes.
The subpoena didn't mean you had to go to their office.
Right.
You hired a civil lawyer, Mr. Dunn, to represent you, considering litigation against Mr. Combs.
No.
Show that?
It's their assumption. But no, I have counsel to protect me. I don't do federal court.
On March 10th, 2025, did you not tell Ms. Comey that you are considering a civil complaint against Mr. Combs?
No.
DX 1800, what is this?
Cassie in the video for the mixtape.
And 1801.
Cassie and Usher. This is the 2016 Bad Boy reunion show.
Did you pick out that dress?
I don't remember.
You didn't start as a celebrity stylist. It was that Mr. Combs introduced you to Cassie, right?
I met her, Mrs. Fine.
So it's Mr. Combs who made you a celebrity stylist.
Sure, go ahead.
I am going ahead. As a celebrity stylist, you pick clothes, like for Mrs. Fine's wedding?
Yes.
Do you know Groovy Lou?
Yes.
As head of Bad Boy, it was in Mr. Combs' interest that his artist Cassie look good, right?
I suppose.
And Bad Boy paid for Cassie's studio time, right?
Yes.
Ms. Ventura can't go to the studio unless Mr. Combs pays. What is Young and Reckless?
A streetwear clothing brand. Cassie owned a part of it.
Mr. Combs had nothing to do with it?
He had to approve everything.
Wasn't Bonna involved?
As stylist.
Who else were you styling for in 2016?
Cassie, Puff, Mace, and Lil Kim.
Major artists. And on the mixtape, you were executive producer but got no credit. Meek Mill was on the mixtape.
Yes.
Pusha T.
Yes. Can I take a break?
At this moment, they took a break, then continued. Nice coat.
Thank you.
What size?
Not your size.
Right answer. Mr. Combs was the final decision-making?
No, some of them look terrible.
You are friends with Ms. Fine?
Yes.
When's the last time you spoke with Bonna?
Yesterday.
Not about testimony, right?
Right. She saw it on the news.
When did you speak with Cassie?
Yesterday. I congratulated her on having the baby.
You saw her take drugs?
Cocaine, ecstasy, and MDMA.
Mushrooms and acid?
I'm not, privy to that.
Not to get into your business, you have used cocaine?
Oh, so Cassie had her baby? Hold on. Let me pause this. Because he says, when was the last time you saw Cassie? And Nash said yesterday. I congratulated her on having her baby. Isn't that what he said?
You are friends with Ms. Fine?
Yes.
When's the last time you spoke with Bonna?
Yesterday.
Not about testimony, right?
Right. She saw it on the news.
When did you speak with Cassie?
Yesterday. I congratulated her on having the baby.
You saw her take drugs?
Cocaine, ecstasy, and MDMA.
Mushrooms and acid?
I'm not, privy to that.
Not to get into your business, you have used cocaine?
Yes.
You smoked pot before meeting prosecutors?
All right. So, Cassie Ventura, R&B singer and actor known simply as Cassie, has welcomed her third child as of March 28th. The news arrived in the midst of the ongoing Sean D. Combs ex-trafficking trial, as which Cassie is an essential witness. She gave birth to a boy. He's number 3 with her husband, Alex Fine. So, yes, Cassie has given birth, okay, as of yesterday.
Yes, and Maureen cut it short.
You told her you were high?
That I was smoking.
Making a video costs hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Not necessarily.
Who was Mia?
Puff's assistant.
You and Mia jumped on Mr. Combs to protect Cassie from him, right?
And to protect him from doing something worse.
And D-Rock tried to protect you and not protect Mr. Combs.
Yes.
And that was the end of court today. What do you think about the testimonies given today? Do you think the defense did better or the prosecution? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, again, we got another explosive, riveting testimony in from Deontay Nash, okay? He was the homosexual hairstylist for Cassie, right? And according to him, allegedly Diddy wanted to orchestrate freak-offs for him, Diddy, Cassie, and Deontay. Because in Deontay's testimony, he said, allegedly, that Diddy said that he would get them some DICK tonight in Vegas or somewhere, or however have you. So we've listened to 4 testimonies, guys. Capricorn Clark, the police officer that investigated Kid Cudi's car, the Jimenez person, and Nash. I don't really see what the Jimenez person talked about. I didn't really hear much. Let me see. I didn't really, hear much of it. Let me see. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. This is good testimony. So, emotional testimony and heated legal moments as the jury heard from 2 key witnesses, LAPD officer Christopher Ignacio and Deontay Nash, a former stylist for Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs. Officer Ignacio testified about a 911 call in December 11. And also, they didn't get any DNA off of the cocktail bottle, right? The bombing of Kid Cudi's car. So, sent him racing to the Hollywood Hills, home of Scott Mescudi, Okay. He confirmed that the Escalade was registered to Bad Boy Records. Under cross, Ignacio admitted no theft was reported and no search was conducted. Okay. They usually, they do that for rich people. Like, they'll kind of just like turn their nose up, walk away, take a payment, or however have you, some cops, and just walk away and not really care about investigating whether or not a crime was committed. That does very well happen with rich people. So he said the case was treated as a trespass, not a burglary. Okay. Even though Kid Cudi was standing there in his house. Okay. Unannounced to Kid Cudi. Then came Deontay Nash, whose testimony was some of the most emotional the jury had heard. Nash described working as a stylist for both Puff and Cassie, witnessing consistent verbal and physical. He recalled Puff dragging Cassie by her hair to her release tapes. He said that Cassie's stuff just like maybe got thrown on YouTube or whatever, never really really hitting the market anywhere that it can make her some money, like Spotify or something, iHeart, however have you. He could have put her up on Revolt. Didn't Diddy own the cable network Revolt? Anywho. Where was I? Nash described intervening once jumping on Puff's back to protect Cassie and said that Puff retaliated by throwing him and Mia, who's Mia, an assistant, out of the house. He described Cassie hiding often, panicked and emotional, and said Puff would frequently blow up their phones till she came back. Nash also testified that on her 29th birthday, Cassie told him she didn't want to go to the hotel, but Peppy made her. Nash confirmed he saw Cassie take, but also Nash confirmed he saw Cassie take, but also admitted under cross that he too had used. Okay, I'm assuming they're meaning drugs. Okay, including before meetings with prosecutors, Cassie and Nash were high. He denied trying to bring a civil case and said he only kept in contact with Puff because he didn't hate him. Okay. The courtroom heard about Puff threatening to put Cassie's tapes on the internet following Nash with security, and even Nash out during a music video shoot. Nash made clear he feared retaliation and tried to stay quiet, but today he told the court exactly what he said he saw. Okay? So these are the exact statements made by the prosecution team, defense team, Officer Christopher Ignacio, Lance Jimenez, and Deontay Nash on yesterday. Some words were censored to comply with the YouTube guidelines. So what you've all heard was the voiceover readings of the Officer Christopher Ignacio, Lance Jimenez, and Deontay Nash, and also Capricorn Clark, okay, from the testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Complimentaries of Inner City Press, okay? So I love Inner City Press. Lots of us use it. Okay. That was a lot, y'all. Do y'all want to get into... Let's just see, because I have like a whole day filled of what we're going to cover from over. Okay, I really like this girl, this lady that testifies, that does commentary on Diddy. What's her name? Angelique and Equinety somebody. But let me see if I can find. Is it crime at all? Let me see, y'all, because my notes kind of got ripped up. But anyway, let me see if it's crime in all. It's crime something, y'all. Let me see. I'll find her. Meanwhile, are we on week 3? And then this guy, he's getting a lot of
Can you tell me a little bit what it was like to be on that stand a few feet away from Sean Diddy Combs, who you obviously had been around before in these sexual encounters?
And I'm not going to hold you. I don't think he damaged Diddy credibility at all. Like, I really don't think that he damaged anything. He talks about how Diddy was just in the cut, touching himself like a perv. And never really even got engaged. He didn't say he slept with Diddy. He didn't say Diddy paid him. He said Diddy laid money on the bed, but I mean, he could have laid money on the bed for takeout. You see what I'm saying? Like, whatever. He didn't say Diddy transported me. He didn't say Diddy kidnapped me. He didn't say any of that. So I don't think he heard Diddy's case. Okay, Diddy bought some X for Cassie. Y'all gonna lock him up in federal prison for buying PP for his I don't even, his little concubine or whatever you want to call Cassie. What do they be calling them when they use them as fronts because they really be liking boys? I forget what it's called. That. Okay, but you can't lock somebody up in the federal penitentiary for that. I don't think that's even a crime, but whatever.
He was more of a voyeur at those times. What was it like being in the room in the courtroom?
Yeah, so I have to say, I thought going into it, I was pretty prepared and confident, but literally when I walked in the room, I got complete anxiety. Like my entire body was shaking. Whatever I envisioned or what I thought, because obviously you can't see anything, it was the tension and the magnitude of the moment was much, much deeper. So it was to some degree terrifying. Like I just could not, whatever I envisioned, it was just so much more that I was not mentally prepared.
Can you tell me a little bit what it was like to be on that stand a few feet away from Sean Diddy Combs, who you obviously had been around before in these sexual encounters, but he was more of a voyeur at those times. What was it like being in the room in the courtroom?
Yeah, so I have to say, I thought going into it, I was pretty prepared and confident, but literally when I walked in the room, I got complete anxiety. Like my entire body was shaking. Whatever I envisioned or what I thought, because obviously you can't see anything, it was the tension and the magnitude of the moment was much, much deeper. So it was to some degree terrifying. Like I just could not, whatever I envisioned, it was just so much more that I was not mentally prepared.
Can you tell me a little bit what it was like to be on that stand a few feet away from Sean Diddy Combs, who you obviously had been around before in these sexual encounters, but he was more of a voyeur at those times. What was it like being in the room in the courtroom?
Yeah, so I have to say, I thought going into it, I was pretty prepared and confident.
So that's his name's Sheree. He went by the Punisher, as somebody that Diddy would pay to do freak offs. And according to him, like the freak offs were not anything like what we thought he was going to express them to be. Now some of the other stuff that other people have testified to, like Cassie and stuff, but I haven't heard anything about like the IVs coming out and all of this. Cassie said they stayed up for days and it went on for days, every single day. People are saying like, Diddy was, that's what I want to get into. So somebody really close to Diddy, right? Let me find this. It might be here. Yeah, here we go. Okay. He was on one of the because there are like several documentaries out about Diddy. He has given a witness account of his own understanding. Diddy, one of Diddy's assistants. Okay, we're gonna get into this. Diddy's dark side revealed, shocking allegations from his former assistant. Y'all, get into this tea. Let me spill this tea on y'all today. Thank you guys so much for joining this morning. We're back up. We got the sippers, get your teacups up.
That hotel.
Sean Diddy Combs already on trial.
This will be compliments of 60 Minutes Australia.
For sex trafficking.
Baby oil, Astroglide, drugs.
Now his
Dude, as my computer starts acting right, I don't know what's going on with it, y'all. It's been raining over here, so
personal assistants.
I had to clean up those rooms.
New allegations of violent
I wonder if this guy is set.
behavior.
It was frightening. His eyes,
like
they were
120
just black.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious sex trafficking charges in a New York court. The defence tactic seems to be this: convince a jury that Combs might be extremely unlikable. That doesn't mean he's guilty of criminal offences that could see him locked up for the rest of his life. As Nine's Christina Hearn reports, as risky as this approach clearly is, it's probably better than nothing, especially considering the evidence that's mounting against him.
So when we do the music, y'all, I'm gonna cut it off. I don't want any copyright strikes or have to share revenue with anyone for Diddy's music.
Private jet is pretty worthless when you're banged up in a New York prison. For the last 8 months, a cell has been Sean Diddy Combs' home after he was arrested on sex trafficking charges.
This is about consensual relationships. That's what she's saying about all of it.
Now, a court is deciding the hip-hop mogul's fate. And if he's found guilty, it's possible he'll be extending his prison stay for life.
We out of space and we breathe each other.
The allegations against Combs are sordid and shocking. Domestic violence, rape, blackmail.
Now, I haven't heard any ape. I have not heard any apes take place. Even when Cassie said She may not have. No. I take that back. Hold on. There's been so much stuff going on. Cassie did say that Diddy aped her. I'm so sorry. Okay. She did say that. She said that he came over, broke into her house or something of the sort, and aped her on her floor. Okay. Right or wrong, was she right after she continued to stay with Diddy, and then she slept with Diddy willingly later on that exact day that she was also dating her now current husband. She just had a baby boy with yesterday, their third child. She said that day he aped her. Okay, yeah. So there is an ape in there so far with Cassie saying that.
Scenes, he was forcing women into sex.
And what they described as his swingers lifestyle.
And that is just the start.
The rap mogul once forced a male escort to urinate in ex-Cassie Ventura's mouth.
For those who worked closely
I don't know about all of that. Did Cassie say that she wanted the ex-worker to pee in her mouth? I believe that was some testimony that she testified to herself, that she wanted this occurrence to happen of the excrement of the bodily function in her mouth. I don't know about all this forced stuff. See, the news be like adding a big curve on your ass, and you have to be like, well, let me remember exactly what she said, right? Because she testified to that moment on the stand. I think she said she wanted it to happen. I just think she said that, you know what I'm saying, those are the type of things that happen when me and Diddy freaked off. You see what I'm saying? When me and Diddy freaked off, that's what they was doing.
What's being revealed is an unwelcome reminder of what a scheming megalomaniac he is. Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
Tonight, the brave Diddy insiders finally able to tell all.
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
Plus the hundreds of other accusers lining up to launch their own lawsuits.
This case is shocking. It is alarming. How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
For 2 years, Phil Pines knew Sean Combs better than almost anyone. As his senior personal assistant, Phil was the go-to guy, a trusted confidant and keeper of secrets. He thought getting the job would be his big break into the music industry.
I was excited. I mean, look, this man is one of the most powerful, one of the most influential, so it meant a lot to me to actually have the opportunity to work with somebody of that magnitude.
What is the job of an executive assistant? What do you do?
Well, the job of an executive assistant is to staff him. You know, 24/7, essentially, he needs staffing, unless he's asleep.
In Diddy's world, staffing included organising the mogul's over-the-top social functions. It was hard work, but at first, Phil couldn't believe his luck. He loved that the job was so eye-opening.
They were celebrity-driven parties. I happened to come in at a time where he was throwing his 50th birthday party, and they spent millions of dollars building this outside structure in his backyard in Los Angeles. And I couldn't believe, like, wow, I'm a part of this now. Like, it was so, again, exquisite. It was this huge.
But the gloss quickly wore off as his tasks became more sinister. Phil was not only ordered to source a constant supply of drugs for Diddy, he was then forced to carry them around the country.
So we had a laundry list of items that needed to be with us at all times. You know, we'd have their marijuana joints on us. We would have the mushrooms on us. We had a kind of a Diddy pack is what they would call it. and we would keep a satchel on us, and that's what we would have in that satchel.
I need you to dance, I need you to strip, I need you to shake your little ass and hips.
Always on call, Phil witnessed many things he now wishes he hadn't. He says he worked on the periphery of Diddy's now infamous sex parties known as freak-offs, although he knew them by another name.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries, drugs.
Phil wasn't in the room for the parties, but he didn't have to be. He knew exactly what went on behind closed doors because one of his jobs was deleting the very incriminating videos of the Wild King Nights from his boss's iPhones and iPads.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and, smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks. It's every day, every hour.
Hey, yo, Phil, can y'all come straighten it up over here? Not looking luxurious.
The personal assistant also became the personal maid. Diddy's sex parties meant hotel rooms were often trashed. Phil was expected to get his hands dirty cleaning up, with the priority being to ensure no evidence was left behind. No secrets could ever escape.
Initially, when you walk in, you have to start to clean up the mess and the records that's left from the room. And that's the alcohol that's halfway open. Some bottles are cracked, glasses are cracked. There's baby oil everywhere on the floors in the bathroom. There's lube everywhere, half open, some of it oozing off the sides. And you have to get all that stuff, clean it up. Luckily, I would wear even a mask and I would wear gloves because it was disgusting.
Phil, what would have happened if you said to Diddy, look, that's just not my job, I'm not going to do it?
If I said that to Diddy, I wouldn't have worked there. They would find somebody else. He knows everybody. He knows what's going on behind the scenes. He knows every manager, every executive, every attorney, everybody who's important in the industry, he knows.
And Puff, where did that come from?
I can't tell you that.
The implied threat was if you crossed Sean Combs, you'd never work in the industry again. He used his volatility to control his inner circle.
I'm a savage! Oh!
His employees knew his fits of rage well. But it wasn't until this CCTV of Diddy assaulting his then partner, Cassie Ventura, in an LA hotel was leaked to CNN that the rest of the world knew what he was capable of. As shocking as this was, Phil Pine says there were other incidents where his boss was violent with women, including one time in Florida he'll never forget.
It was at Star Island, which is his Miami residence. Him and his guest were starting to argue, and they just started really, really going at it. And I just remember him pushing her, telling her to remove his hoodie. She removed the hoodie, but in between that time, he had kicked her twice. And it was frightening because I saw his eyes. His eyes, they were just black. And it just scared me. And the girl was topless. She had nothing on.
As more and more reports of Combs' violence and generally vile behaviour have emerged, more and more people have felt empowered to speak. Sarah Rivers met the rapper on his MTV reality show in the early 2000s.
I have to do things that are a little unorthodox.
Like Phil Pines, back then, she had dreams of making a career in the music business. And when a contract with Diddy's record label appeared, she thought he was a god.
I like your style. You know what I'm saying? I like the way you get down.
It was like, wow, for Diddy? Diddy? What? You know, that was a person that I looked up to, he was a mogul. So, and I listened to all the artists that he made superstars. And so to have a chance to be able to be signed to him, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, I'm here. I finally did it.
But sadly for Sarah, it didn't take long before the real Sean Combs emerged. An arrogant bully who was out of control with almost everyone he encountered.
You want a high five? He told one of my band members, "You make me so mad, I want to eat your flesh." You know, he told one of them, you know, I can get a crackhead $20 to make him smack the out of you. So that's another reason why, like, how am I gonna speak up? And that shaped me, my mind, to be like, oh, you ain't gonna say nothing. Because if he can say stuff like that, what can he do for real?
Coming up, the moment that changed Sarah's life forever.
I didn't want to be alone with him, and that's the truth.
Why was that?
Because of what he did.
Hello?
In the extraordinary effort to expose the extent of Sean Diddy Combs' behaviour, this call centre in Billings, Montana, has played a vital role.
I'm not making any comments about the case.
While the disgraced music mogul, charged with sex trafficking offences, is on trial 3,000 kilometres away in New York, here, the phones have been ringing off the hook. Ads on social media have prompted 15,000 calls from people detailing decades of alleged abuse by the rapper.
Right? Allegedly, this man was doing this for a period of almost 30 years. What we have been told is he was brazen in his attempts to coerce people into these compromising sexual acts.
Notwithstanding the outcome of the criminal trial, attorney Andrew Van Arsdale is launching civil action against Combs.
We represent thousands of survivors of abuse.
Already, he's taken on 37 cases from people who dialed in to the Diddy call centre. One client was just 15 when the alleged offending occurred.
So some of these people that have come forward have been sitting with this secret for 30 years?
And so these individuals, they've been afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so, yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
Phil Pines knows their pain. He too has been keeping secrets. From 2019 to 2021, Diddy's former personal assistant helped organise and then covered up his boss's debauched lifestyle.
Did Diddy constantly test your loyalty?
Absolutely.
Was there a moment that test for loyalty went too far?
Sorry.
It's an incident that will forever haunt Phil. Something Combs made him do at one of the sex parties.
Then he says, prove your loyalty to me. And I'm thinking, like, you know, what is he talking about? He grabs a condom, rubs his hands on my shoulders, and pushes me to a female guest that's on the couch. And I froze. I look at the girl, you know, and I, you know, are you okay with this? And she's, yeah. So I perform for a little bit, And when I say a little bit, I mean just a little bit. And as soon as I like kind of know that he's not looking or he's not around and he's not in my peripheral, I quickly just pull up my pants and get out of there and run downstairs and take off. I felt powerless. I felt like I couldn't tell him no.
Sarah Rivers also felt powerless when it came to having Sean Combs as a boss. She was one of the stars of his MTV reality show, Making the Band. But says she had to endure inhumane working conditions. On one frightening day, she remembers how the music mogul cornered her when she was by herself on set.
And so when I went up to the studio, you know, the MTV cameras didn't follow me coming down the hallway, and he happened to see me on his security camera. And then he just bust out of the door. He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, "How you doing?" I'm kind of like, wow, this is, what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, "If you need anything, anything at all, you let me know."
Even though it was 2 decades ago, just thinking about Combs's creepy and unwelcome advance still causes Sarah distress.
I didn't ask for that. I don't approve of that. I was intimidated. And then I ran out of the studio as fast as I could and left.
Did you feel you could tell anyone?
I didn't think anybody would believe me, honestly. I didn't.
But her rejection of Combs had even more consequences. After the MTV show ended, Sarah believes he had her blacklisted from the music industry, effectively killing her career.
I'm sorry. I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. I'm sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him and denies any wrongdoing. But lawyer Andrew Van Arsdale says the New York criminal trial is just the beginning of what will be a very long judicial process.
We have hundreds of other lawsuits being prepared to be filed. I think if he's ultimately found guilty in the federal trial, we'll see a lot more people come forward.
If he could have his time over, Phil Pines probably never would have accepted the job as Diddy's assistant. The experience led him into a deep depression. It's only now his condition is starting to improve. But he's determined to do what he can to let other survivors of abuse know they're not alone. Support is always available.
I'm getting out there and telling my story, telling my truth. There's power in it. This is like a whole huge therapy session for me because I've become so much stronger. Because it's tough. But the first step is to talk about it, get help. Sean Diddy Combs, he's one of the most charismatic individuals you'll ever meet. But there's another side to him. It's a very, very dark side. And I had to experience that for 2 years. And I'm hoping that no one else moving forward has to experience what I've experienced.
What does justice look like?
Jail time. Everyone has their day. And he has to pay for that.
Remember, if you or anyone you know is a victim of domestic violence, help is available. Call 1-800-RESPECT, which is 1-800-737-732. Hello, I'm Amelia Adams. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights, intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that.
Joining us for our live coverage of the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial out of New York federal court. Right now they're on a lunch break, gives us time to analyze what's happened so far as we begin week 3 in the prosecution of this case. And really interesting testimony from what we're getting reports on what happened in court today. But by the way, for the next hour or so, we're going to be taking your questions on YouTube. Any questions you have about today's testimony, anything about that's happened in the case so far, where you think the case is going to go, submit them on YouTube, and me and my great panel of guests are going to break them down. But before I bring in my guests, I got to bring on right now Elizabeth Milner, long crimes reporter who has been in that courtroom in New York federal court every single day of testimony, including today. Elizabeth, it's great to see you. I will ask you about what the vibe is and what we're seeing in the court in a minute, but I have to start with the testimony of Capricorn Clark. So this former assistant to Sean Combs.
I was completely on mute. As I was saying, we got to keep our teacups put up. We've been over here almost 2 hours, so we're going to keep our teacups up. We're coming in live with Law and Crime, giving us up-to-date details on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. We're on week 3. We're covering days 10 through 12, okay, because Diddy makes my head and stomach hurt. So I'm not going to be here every single day, but when I am, I'm going to recap and update for the most, explosive, riveting parts of the case. So here we go.
We knew she was going to take the stand. She had been mentioned last week during Kid Cudi's testimony. I want to take this in pieces if I can. So, because I know we have a little bit of time with you. So just talk to me real quick about how she began her testimony and how she started working for Sean Combs. And then we'll move into more of the specific allegations regarding Kid Cudi.
Yeah, well, Jesse, from what Capricorn Clark said while on the stand today, she said that she and Diddy actually go back before she actually started working with him. She said she met him around 2002, and then from there, later on, that's when she started getting into his employment around 2004, between 2004 to 2006. So when she was first brought on, she was brought on as a personal assistant, and she said actually on the first day of the job, she was taken to Central Park. And you might think, oh, we're going to go to Central Park, it's going to be great. But that's not really how she described her first day on the job. She said she went there with Sean Combs, Diddy, and she also went there with Paul Alford. Now, who is Paul Alford? He's actually the security guard that we've known about for a number of testimony, right? But she's actually talking about Uncle Paulie. And so she said that she was brought to Central Park with them. And then she kind of gets into why they would go to Central Park. And it was essentially to threaten Capricorn Clark. Why? Because she actually used to work with Death Row. And who was the CEO of Death Row, that is Suge Knight, one of Diddy's many arch nemesis. And so she said that she described her previous relationship with Suge Knight as he is actually the father of her best friend's children. So she does not have a personal, like, intimate relationship with Suge Knight necessarily, but she just knows of him and knows him a little bit closer, mainly because of her best friend, and that he is the father of her best friend's children. And so when she was taken to Central Park around this time, this being in 2004, she said that Diddy told her he'd kill her if she had anything to do with Suge Knight. Then there was an objection raised in court, the defense obviously objecting to that statement, but the government continued to ask her about this alleged threat, and she being Capricorn Clark had explained that Diddy was relatively calm while delaying this kind of message to her. She said that during this kind of meetup at Central Park, or during this meeting, that Uncle Paulie said nothing. He was calm as well too. He was a little stoic from her description of it, and she said, as far as the response to the threat goes, she says, well, we'll just have to see. But Capricorn said while she was on the stand that she should have just been more transparent about her relationship with Suge Knight, and that's when we start getting into the exhibit photos of just some of the security guards that we've seen a number of times through these exhibits. So we were shown a photo of D-Rock, who Capricorn Clark explained was a good friend of Biggie Smalls. D-Rock actually came on board after Capricorn Clark. Then we're showing an exhibit photo of Ruben, who's actually D-Rock's little brother, and she explained that that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, and so did.
Okay, so testimony was a little confusing to me. D-Rock is not Nash. D-Rock is somebody else, maybe a bodyguard. Okay, cleared up.
She said that Ruben came after Capricorn Clark, same as D-Rock. And then as far as Roger Bonds, we already saw an exhibit photo of him, but we saw that again today. And she explained that Roger Bonds started around the time that Capricorn Clark did. So this was around that 2004 time frame. And then slowly we start to get into the guns. And Capricorn had said that she had observed Diddy with a gun while she was being kidnapped. And obviously we're going to divulge and take that piece by piece in just a little bit. But the government asked her, that Diddy has discussed having a gun before, because there was this whole, press thing and interview that Diddy had done with 50 Cent. And we all know Diddy's relationship with 50 Cent is not the best. And so I guess Puff, or who she refers to as Puff, said that Chris Lighty, who was Diddy's manager around that time, said that Diddy said, I don't like the back and forth, I like guns. And Puff, or Diddy, or Sean Combs, as we're calling him, was actually talking about 50 Cent during that exchange. So that was automatically the start of the testimony,
right,
already going off with a little bit of fireworks after kind of going into how she came to work with Diddy.
Yeah, look, when you're dealing with a racketeering case, we've said it before, we'll say it again, having the assistants, the bodyguard, the security, the people that were in that inner circle is imperative, because you're trying to understand the inner workings of this criminal enterprise or this organization, but also, Diddy is ultimately charged in a racketeering conspiracy case alone. There's no other defendants, so you wonder, who did he allegedly do all of these things with? Who did he engage in this pattern of criminal activity with? But the reason she is also important is because I believe she is being used to help prove some of the underlying crimes for racketeering. When you're talking about racketeering conspiracy, the prosecution needs to prove at least 2 underlying crimes. So there's sex trafficking, there's arson, there's kidnapping, there's bribery. But more specifically, what did she say regarding kidnapping? And what did she say, I believe, that may help support the forced labor allegation? Again, really, really important for racketeering. What did Capricorn Clark have to say today?
Yeah, she said a lot, Jesse. Sometimes I just have to go through my notes to see just where everything is that she had been talking about. But as far as just the kidnapping goes, and I just want to apologize, everyone. I know my voice is a little hoarse, so if it scratches off a little bit here and there, I apologize for that. But so as far as the kidnapping allegation goes, that stems from 2011. And what do we know that happens in 2011, specifically around December of that time frame? That is when we start to kind of get into the Kid Cudi and Cassie relationship. Obviously, a very huge talking point throughout a lot of this testimony, especially last week, kind of trickling into this week. And so around this 2011 time frame, Capricorn Clark is no longer Diddy's personal assistant. Now she's a global brand director. So she's around 28 years old around this time. But she said around this time frame, she was also working as Cassie's creative director and manager too. So kind of pulling those double roles. And she said as far as that role of being a creative director. It was kind of about maximizing the optics for Cassie. And so as far as just everything with the Kid Cudi incident, Capricorn Clark explained that Cassie was seeing Kid Cudi in December of 2011. We already know this, but Cassie had asked around this time frame whether or not Kid Cudi could come on a hike with Capricorn and Cassie. And Capricorn actually said that this was going to be a bad idea because Capricorn was concerned whether or not Diddy would find out about this. And so Capricorn was explaining that Diddy had bought her phone, and so he was worried, or she was worried about Diddy seeing these text messages come through from Cassie, kind of explaining that she wanted to bring Kid Cudi on this hike that they were doing together. And so Capricorn actually explained on the stand today that she was the one who brought Cassie in to buy that burner phone, so that way it wouldn't be traced back to Cassie. That way they could talk without Diddy finding out. So that was kind of a big revelation that we learned today, because Capricorn had explained that she got Cassie this burner phone, or she went with her to Best Buy to buy this burner phone because she was afraid that they would all get killed. There is an objection made by the defense, obviously, because everyone's just like, oh my God, this is now another time where Diddy allegedly threatened to kill either Capricorn Clark or Cassie or somebody in just that fashion. But the objection was sustained, so that part is struck from the record. But Capricorn said she all of a sudden was hearing a loud banging at her apartment. And so she said that she looked through the peephole of her apartment door and she saw that Diddy was upset. He was pacing. His body language looked like something was kind of in his hand. So Capricorn Clark opened the door, and she said when she did, Diddy was still upset. She explained everything that he wore, from a button-down shirt, a sweater, that he had slacks that just happened to be ripped. And she said it exposed his underwear, but she said that Diddy had a gun in his hand whenever he was banging on her door. And so Diddy said to Capricorn Clark in a very angry way, "Why didn't you tell me who is Scott?" And as we know Scott to be Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi. And so Diddy told Capricorn, "Get dressed, we're gonna kill this N-word," and that's what she said. And I will say here, Jesse, that Capricorn Clark, when she was on the stand, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as being casual, but as far as just profanity is concerned, she very much just kind of laid it all out there as far as what was said, what words were used. And so it did get a little profane during some aspects of her testimony. And so, yeah, Diddy had told her that they were going to go kill this person, and that person being Kid Cudi. And so during this testimony, I saw that Diddy was jotting down some notes during this. And so Capricorn said that she didn't want to go, but Diddy made her, and he put a gun in his waist, that same gun that he had in his hand, he put in his waist, and that Diddy still seemed mad, but this time mad at Capricorn. And Capricorn said that Diddy had never been to her house before, but once they were in the car, Diddy moved his gun from his waist to his lap now. But notably, Ruben, who we know as also Rue, but is also D-Rock's little brother, was the one who was driving the car. So it was the three of them, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben, aka Rue. And so Capricorn explained that she wasn't able to leave the Escalade, which I guess is the vehicle that they had driven down to. She said that everything was just happening so fast. There was no conversation going on. But they went from Capricorn Clark's home all the way down to Kid Cudi's house, or I guess all the way up to Kid Cudi's house in the Hollywood Hills. And then we're showing an exhibit photo of the Google map that shows kind of the direction of driving or direction of travel from Capricorn Clark's house to Kid Cudi's home. And then we see that same exhibit photo of Kid Cudi's front door. And so from there, Capricorn was kind of explaining she didn't know whether or not Kid Cudi was actually at his home, but Capricorn said that she had to stay in the car. Meanwhile, Ruben and Diddy went inside Kid Cudi's home. Capricorn explained that she had called Cassie and called Cassie's burner phone through all of this, and Capricorn had explained to Cassie, she said, "Cassie, what the F?" And she had told Cassie that she was brought to Kid Cudi's home essentially to be there so that way they could kill him. And Capricorn actually changed the name from Cassie's burner phone over to, like, I guess her best friend's name, because she didn't want Diddy to find out that she called her, to give her the heads up. But guess what happens next? Diddy comes out, and she said that while she was on the phone with Cassie, she could hear Kid on the phone telling Cassie that this man's in my house. Those weren't the exact words that were said, but you get what I'm going with that. But and Cassie was trying to stop him because he could have been killed in this incident, according to Capricorn Clark. Diddy comes out. Diddy explains, who the F are you talking to? Diddy called that same number back, found out that that's Cassie's burner phone, then got livid knowing Cassie even had this extra phone. And so Capricorn said that Kid Cudi later pulled up to his home. He sped off later, though, and then D-Rock, Capricorn, and Rue all followed him in the same car, chased him until they essentially lost him. But then the police responded, and that's when Kid Cudi, I guess, returns back to his home. And it's interesting because I don't recall under direct or even cross-examination that Kid Cudi explaining that he actually drove to the home before the police arrived. But according to Capricorn Clark, that's what she kind of said happened. But she surprisingly said that Diddy was relatively calm when he saw the police sirens going over to Kid Cudi's home, but that afterwards, Capricorn, Diddy, and Ruben all went to the Key Club, and Diddy told Capricorn to essentially call Cassie and tell her to come over here. And Cassie said, okay, well, come get me. So Diddy told Cassie to tell Kid Cudi not to tell the police that Diddy was the one allegedly behind it and not to make a police report about the incident. The Capricorn told Kid Cudi as well, too, not to file this police report, and that Kid Cudi was essentially mind blown. There was another objection. That objection was sustained, so maybe the mind blown won't be in the transcript. But after this event happened, and after this, because this was just them going into the home, that Capricorn and Cassie went over to Diddy's house, and Diddy began physically assaulting and being physically violent with Cassie. Capricorn explained that he kept kicking her and he never used his hands. Cassie was crouched into this fetal position.
Elizabeth, let me jump in because it's so loud right now. I know we got the sirens going on. This is the beauty of a live shot right outside the federal courthouse. But look, just from my point of view, look, this is really, really important testimony because it helps establish this alleged kidnapping. It helps to back up what Kid Cudi had testified to. It helps to describe and back up and corroborate with what Cassandra Ventura had testified to. All this idea that the jury has to believe that Sean Combs was essentially a mob boss, that he was running this criminal organization and had people, engaging in this kind of behavior. And I'll pick it up back to you because the sound stopped. But, also real quick, she talked about her work. And she talked about being forced. I mean, if we're talking about forced labor, it wasn't just the hours. I mean, she talked about the hours she had to work as well, but also the kind of circumstances of her job too, right?
She did, and as I'm trying to go through my notes, everyone, that's also the beauty of the live shot is writing or finding your place where you wrote down everything, because you write down so many notes, I should say. But as far as just the overworking that she did, she said on a good night she got 4 hours of sleep, and then on a bad night she got 2 hours of sleep. I personally think 4 hours of sleep is kind of a bad night, but according to her, that was just pretty typical. She said that she even got stress-induced alopecia from working with Diddy. She even had to go to a doctor. She said that around that time frame she was making about $65,000 as her salary as a personal assistant. But the thing is, Jesse, she went to HR, and HR calculated Capricorn's overtime, and she said that she had enough overtime that was owed to her, totaling about $80,000 of overtime. That's a lot of money. But what did Diddy do whenever he was shown kind of this paper receipt and kind of this document that showed that she was owed $80,000 in overtime? Diddy allegedly ripped up this paper. That's what Capricorn Clark said while she was on the stand. But like a lot of the other assistants that have testified so far, including David James and George Kaplan as well, that Capricorn Clark's one of her many duties was to set up hotel rooms. And even just thinking about this time frame, right, Jesse, it's from 2004 to 2006. So this was before the Cassie relationship that she was still required to set up these hotels. She said that she would unpack a camera box. This camera box had a camera, lube, baby oil in it. She said that she had to unpack Diddy's clothes, his shoes, a toiletry bag, which a toiletry bag was that Louis Vuitton bag that allegedly had drugs inside of it. She said there were drugs like ecstasy inside this bag. Kind of still the same old tricks, it seems like, too, from just booking these hotel stays, that if it was one of Diddy's girlfriends, because again, this was before Cassie Ventura, that the name for the girlfriend would be Jackie Starr, a same alias that was used by Cassie. She had explained that as far as the names for the hotel reservations for Diddy specifically, that those could be either Frank Black, they could be Frank White. She even said that during some of these hotel stays that he being Diddy, would stay at the hotel with Kim Porter, and this would be something that would happen at least once a week. But there were other girlfriends who would stay at the hotel too. And then even in the aftermath of everything, Jesse, it's kind of that same old thing where she would pack up all of his stuff and clean up after him. And what was kind of on the walls and kind of the stickier stuff that's found inside these hotel rooms, it was baby oil. So it was interesting kind of hearing that even before the Cassie Ventura relationship goes, that Capricorn Clark was essentially doing the same type of responsibilities that other assistants did while Diddy was with Cassie and even after the fact.
Right. Well, listen, we have a lot to break down with her testimony and what to make of it. But Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much for the in-depth report. It feels like I'm, reading the transcript. That's how detailed and thorough your reporting is on this. I know you have to jump back into the courtroom, but Elizabeth, thank you so much. Explosive testimony rocks week 2 of the federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial against Sean Diddy Combs. More allegations of abuse of Cassandra Ventura, choking, money to stay silent, and even a former employee testifying to the inner workings of...
Okay, y'all, we are keeping our teacups up. Keep them up, keep them up. We want to recognize our new subscribers over on Kick. Thank you so much for becoming a follower of Tanisha Talks Tees. Angelino, Angel Lion, Star 13, Isaiah the Dragon, and Sepa Serba. Thank you for rocking with Tanisha Talks Tees TV over on our new platform, Kick. We started up on Kick about 3 days ago. We got 3 followers, and we're rocking and rolling. We got 34 hours already streamed on Kick. We're just going to keep rocking and rolling. We need to reach 250 kickers to follow Tanisha and also become sippers of this tea, so we can get monetized as well over on Kick. Hi, Facebook. We are almost at 16,000 followers on Facebook. Incredible, incredible, incredible. We are rocking and rolling over there. We got a lot of great stuff going on over there. We are monetized over there. We are getting paid over there, y'all. We are thankful for being over there, y'all, and just welcoming our tea. They are keeping their cups filled up with lots of great tea that I spill on Tanisha Talks Tees TV on Facebook. YouTube. Hi, YouTube. We are back up on YouTube. It's been 3 years. We are blessed to be back and just continuing to spill all of the tea, y'all. I didn't miss anything on YouTube. I always stayed up to date and current with watching YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I just had to take care of my own. Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay sipping.